So, Soldier's Home by Ernest Hemningway from 1925 deals with the consequences of World War I and especially how the war affects the returned soldier Krebs. When Krebs returns, he is a different man. He feels isolated from others because they can't relate to his experiences and they don't want to listen to him. He spent 2 years fighting in Germany and France, but when he returns, nothing has changed in his hometown. At first, he doesn't want to talk about what happened in the war, but when he later feels the need to, nobody wants to listen to him. I have a quote which says, later he felt the need to talk, but no one wanted to hear about it. He had discovered that he had to lie to make people listen, but this just made him sick of talking about war. Uh, Also a quote which says, Krebs found that to be listened to at all, he had to lie, and after he had done this twice too, he had a reaction against the war and against talking about it. In the story, there's an omniscient narrator because he knows all of his thoughts and feelings. The quote that shows this is, "The German girls are not beautiful," and this shows that the narrator knows what the protagonist is feeling and thinks. Um, his mother wants him to find a job and get married, and his sister as well tells him that that's what other men in his age are doing. However, Krebs feels like he can't love anyone, not even his sister. He cannot pray. He has lost his faith in God, in himself, and in others. He lost himself in the war, and now he doesn't know how to navigate in his feelings. He tries to understand his feelings in history books, but can't seem to find the answer. And this is a symbol of him trying to navigate in his feelings and looking for help to understand his experiences. And therefore, he isolates himself. And the symbol of Krebs wanting everything to be simple is the picture Krebs is looking at when they're in their soldier's uniform. A quote says, all of them wearing exactly the same height and style color. And later he describes the looks of the girls in town with short hair and similar clothes. This shows that he likes the simple and feels comfortable with everything when everything looks the same because it's not too complicated. Um, Krebs has been to war, but he thinks that life in Oklahoma, which seems to be a little town, is much too complicated and even more complicated than war. To me, I think this sounds crazy, and it's probably not true. But he feels this way because of his PTSD, and after the war, he can't find himself again, which is an example of the reader having to guess everything from very little information, such as when he describes the girls in the picture, we can see that he likes simple things. Um, a little bit about the structure. The story starts with a very short paragraph within 4 lines, which is typical for the Kansas City style sheet. And the iceberg technique only gives the reader about 20% information behind the story and leaving the rest to be guessed by the reader, which is very much used in this story. Um, another um, another element that shows that it's the Kansas City style is, if we look at the first page, it consists of a total of 6 paragraphs, which are all very short. There's only a total of 7 adjectives on the whole first page, and the adjectives are big, ridiculous, unimportant, cool, clear, sensual, and apocryphal. And all of these adjectives gives the reader a feeling of desperation and being lost, which is the feelings that Krebs is feeling. And the Kansas City style sheet uses short sentences and a short first paragraph, and we see a lack of adjective, which also connects to the iceberg technique that we have to guess about his feelings. Alright, that was all I had. Hope you enjoyed.